I think I'm live. Look at me. I'm a mess. Oh, oh. Are we on? Can you hear me? I'm trying something with this microphone. All right, I got to clean this up. All right, Stooge fans, we are back. Kind of back. I'm in the middle. Look at this place. It's a mess. This is kind of spontaneous. Uh, I kind of made this decision last minute to jump on here and get back to it. Can you guys hear me? Is this working? And I want to test something else out too. Oh, look at what? Oh my goodness, I look like a stooge. All right, who is here? Joel and Sailor Aqua and Caleb Phelps. Oh my goodness, Emily and Jessica and Stoogington and Lori, Suprav, of course. Audio is good. All right, I'm gonna hit this thing. Is there a sound effect here? I'm gonna hit A. I won't be able to hear it, but you guys could hear it. Tell me what that is. Is that a stooge sound effect? No? Yeah? Okay. Oh, it is. What is it? It's a slap. Okay, A is a slap. This is C. What's this one? Oh. This was given to me. Head bonk. Okay, B's coming up. B. This is B. Slap head bonk. Bobby's here. Jessica Kelly. Paul. Oh, we're getting a. Oh, that was an eye poke, and then the last one. That's the last one. What is that? Okay. I don't know if I could time it though, right? It's a clonk. Okay. So does that time? All right, let's jump into it. All right, sorry, we're getting started a little wacky and unorganized, but we are here with Stooge Talk Live with one of my prized possessions. I've had this since I was a little kid, and I was obsessed with the Three Stooges and would drink coffee with my grandfather, who introduced me. I have that mug and this one, and he bought both of these for me. And he used to drink out of one, and I would drink out of the other. He is the reason I am here. I am back, and sorry, Chris and Brad, Curly G cannot be here. But I know you guys have been anxious to get back to Stooge Talk. We have too. It's just been, it's been a lot. There's been a lot going on. I am stuck in New York, and I was hoping to head back to LA. I was talking to Brad just Tuesday morning, I think, and we're like, all right, next Thursday, we're going to get back to Stooge Talk Live on a regular basis. And bad news, I got into a car accident Tuesday night. And I'm okay, although I'm sore. It was not my fault, and I'm really upset about it because it is stopping my trip. So I'm stuck here for the foreseeable future until I know what's going on, but I really want to get back to LA. Yeah, and it was a bad one. It was pretty scary. But everybody's okay. The girl who hit me, she's okay. And we are what we are. It is what it is. But we have been on hiatus. There's been a lot of issues. Obviously, I no longer work for the Three Stooges, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about the Three Stooges. I mean, we were doing a long time before that, and we're going to get back to it. And, Brad had kind of a lot going on this past year with his mom passing away and, settling all that stuff. And, there was just a lot of stuff, but I miss you guys so much. And one of the worst parts about not working for the Stooges anymore is I don't get to chat with you guys on a daily basis and see you guys popping in and talking Stooges with you. I miss you so much. Paul, thank you very much. Kayla, Emily, everybody. Thank you, Rock to Hall. And yeah, I hear from you guys and I see you comment on other stuff that I'm putting up and send me messages on Facebook. And I really like that. Shemp's birthday is coming up. That's right. Next month. But today we have a very important birthday as well. A very important Stooge birthday. Shemp's son, Mort, which we're going to get to in a little bit. We're going to talk about Mort, and we're going to talk about Shemp, and we're going to talk about the boys. And let's jump right into it. So, like I said, Stooge Talk Live is coming back hopefully, so one of the reasons I was late is I couldn't find a Stooge shirt here. And I knew I had an Abbott and Costello one somewhere, the one that Jimmy gave me. I hope Jimmy is going to pop on today. And I couldn't find that either in this mess. I've had some other issues too, because here it's literally been like an old comedy. There was a big dishwasher. So my dishwasher, something came loose and was spraying water everywhere, but behind the cabinets, and I didn't know it. And it flooded behind the cabinets and on the floor and warped everything, and a lot of mold and stuff. So I've been dealing with that too. Jimmy's been looking for me. Yeah, oh no. You guys still there? That was weird. My whole thing get up. You're still the Stooge ambassador to us. Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. In fact, I was gonna christen myself the unofficial Stooge ambassador. So we might do that. And yeah, Lizzie, thank you. So I don't know if you saw, I've been posting a little series while I've been here in New York. I've been shooting it mostly on my own, called Monster Hunters and Ghost Getters. And you could tell that they're very inspired by the old Three Stooges horror comedies, Spooks and Spook Louder, and Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein, and Hold That Ghost, which is maybe my favorite Abbott and Costello movie of all time. Our Gang of Little Rascals, I'm doing great. Also, we I tried to put out some Little Rascals stuff, and I know Brad did too. Brad found some that predated the Stooges that really seemed to influence what the Stooges were doing. And as somebody pointed out, Simona Boniface was in it, which, if you're a Stooge fan, Simona Boniface. She's done a ton of Stooge stuff, and you'll find her. We kind of deep dive into her on one of the Three Stooges in a Fast Lane on the Three Stooges Plus channel. I'm not really can't remember off the top of my head which one. Has Laurel and Hardy did Halloween comedies? They did. Well, so they did one called the Laurel and Hardy Murder Case, which was actually redone by the Three Stooges. And not only did the Three Stooges redo the Laurel and Hardy Murder Case, Fred Kelso, who played the detective he played it in both of them, and he basically played it in the same part, played the same part as a detective, the cop. And you'll see it's one of those shorts. It's one of the later Curly shorts where he's sadly not doing too well. You could tell he's struggling. He's a little thin, looks much older than his life. Yeah, Paul Brett says Fred Kelsey played the detective in Laurel and Hardy, and If a Body Meets a Body, which was the Three Stooges one, which it had, the one of the walking skull gag. Yeah. Fred Kelsey did one Shem short. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, which one? I don't remember seeing him again. So I'm so glad to be back, and I've really missed you guys. Actually, so tonight, what I was originally going to do, I've been wanting to do this the past couple of days. So I don't know if you guys remember, the Three Stooges had an exhibit last year at the Hollywood Museum, and we pulled a lot of the fans and collectors pulled a bunch of stuff. We did some behind the scenes. Videos of the opening night of the event where everybody gave speeches. Yeah, it was great. For those of you who saw it in real life, it was really cool. Right before that was an Abbott and Costello exhibit, and I did the worst shaving job. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got to do this. So I know I've got them all over the place. Sometimes I just I'll be sitting at my desk and I got this new razor and just shaving, but it looks terrible. How does nobody say anything? This is what happens when you get into a car accident. You don't think. Okay, anyway, I'll give myself a slap for that. Did that time right? But anyway, there right now there's a thank you, Jessica. There's a Marx Brothers exhibit that replaced the Three Stooges one, and next they're going to do Laurel and Hardy. And I put out some pieces that I thought they might want, and I think they're going to take some. But there's a bunch that they rejected, and most of my Laurel and Hardy collection of stuff is here. Now I know we're on Stooge Talk Live, but there's got to be a crossover of a lot of you guys who love Laurel and Hardy as well. And if you're interested, I was thinking about going live tomorrow night and just do an exhibit of just show my Laurel and Hardy memorabilia and stuff that I'm going to pick and bring to the museum, and stuff that we're going to not get to the museum. So if you guys are interested, let me know, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow night. I have a lot of cool stuff. Some of it's original and unique, and it's kind of shady right now. I don't know what that means. Okay, so if you guys want to do it, let me know. Just type in. So let's talk Three Stooges, because it's been a really, really long time. And I think the first news of the new year of the Three Stooges is we have our first Three Stooges film go into public domain because of the years. Obviously, there's some stuff of the Stooges that's already in public domain, but it's usually because there was somebody didn't renew the copyright correctly. But that's right, Paul. Soup to Nuts, the Three Stooges' first film with Moe, Larry, and Shemp, Fred Sanborn, and when they were working with Ted Healy, is now in public domain. Anything from 1930 and older is in public domain. And Brad and I went scouring, looking for a really clean, quality print that's now up on the Curly G channel. So I wish the Stooges were in it more, but it's a really fun film, and it's great proof. A lot of people don't realize that Shemp predated Curly in the act, and I love seeing the boys so young. Moe, for some reason, Moe was always an old man, even when he was a young man, but they look great and they're so funny at that age. And Shemp, I'll have a bowl of soup with some nuts in it, which them sitting at the counter eating, and Shemp dressed as a big baby, which for those of you who know my work outside doing Stooge stuff is a big treat for me. And so it's a great film, and it's a feature, and it's the kickoff to Stooges starting to be in public domain. We got a couple more years before we get to the next MGM shorts, but they're coming up, and it's going to be my goal over the next few years to find some film prints of the films and get them transferred great and put them out for you guys as best we can. And then come 4 years from now, 1934, the Stooge Columbia shorts are going to start hitting public domain. And the first four will be, includes Woman Haters and Punch Drunks, Men in Black, and Three Little Pigskins. And then we get into a year later, so 5 years from now, 1935 shorts will start being public domain. And there's some great ones in that, some of these early classic Three Stooges shorts start being in public domain. So we could start doing some more stuff with them. I know that's a couple of years off, but doesn't mean we can't be preparing content in the meantime so you guys to enjoy. Time Out for Rhythm is in public domain. Yes. And Three Stooges, Moe, Larry, and Curly, it's a feature film that they are... No, Time Out for Rhythm is not. Swing Time is. I think Time Out for Rhythm is not public domain, but there's a film called Swing Time with the Three Stooges that is in public domain. I cannot find a really clean copy of it, but I am trying to find that for you. I think Brad's got some clips of it on his channel. I don't know if he's got the whole film on there or not, but Swing Parade, yeah. But Time Out for Rhythm has got a great sequence with Curly, Moe, and Larry doing a whole little dance routine in Curly's dresses, basically Carmen Miranda. It's really great. Swing Parade of 1946 is in public domain. That's right. That's what it's called. Thank you very much, you guys. But Time Out for Rhythm is not. But some of this stuff is going to start coming out pretty soon. Would you ever do Curly again? Yeah, I would love to. I'm not allowed right now, but who knows? Who knows? I need to stay I need to stay away from that. But Alex, I would love to, man. I miss the Stooges. I miss doing that stuff. I When I left, they had told me that maybe we could work together again. So I was hoping that's true. I don't know if it is, but um I have no ill will. I love the Stooges, and I respect the company, and I think that there is there'd be a lot of opportunity for me to do it. But if not, it was a great time, and there's a lot of other stuff we got uh, going on. So anyway, public domain Stooges is kind of exciting. Um, I really, I, I really like to see what's going to happen. Obviously, the Stooges themselves won't be in public domain. You can't just take Stooges and do something with them. They're all trademarked characters. But those shorts will be coming soon, and hopefully we can get some really high quality versions of them out there to see. I know they're running them on, um, they're running them on the Three Stooges Plus network everywhere in really high quality. So, um, but I don't think on YouTube. So yeah, it is sad, Brian. But yeah, so there's that. So let's talk about. I don't know if you guys have seen. Right towards the end of this year, we became good friends with our friend Mo's great granddaughter Tessa Maurer, and she had a little GoFundMe for a film that she's doing, that she wrote and she's directing. Super proud and excited for her. And if you guys see her artwork, if you're on Facebook, make sure you look up Tessa Maurer, because I think it's like every Tuesday she posts stuff about the Three Stooges. She's got really insider stuff from her grandmother, Joan, Mo's daughter, who, was basically the authority on the Three Stooges for so long. And then she posts her artwork, and she posts all kinds of stuff on her Facebook page. So make sure you go follow her. She's doesn't love being on camera, but if you're out there watching, Tessa, I want to get you on here. We're going to get you on Stooge Talk Live when we're back. I want to get all the families together. What's great is, I've seen her with other family members. And it's really good to see them all, members of everyone's all the families. And what's great is they're all wonderful people. They're really great, which goes to Mort Howard, Shemp's only son. And sadly, he passed away early. Manning, I don't know Mo's son, Paul. What I just found out, this is insane. So I'm in a little town called Esopus, New York. And what I just found out is he lived 5 minutes from where I am for like 30 years. I had no idea. Apparently, he doesn't live there anymore. He's down in the city all the time. I know Brad's brother is friends with Paul, and I know they talk. And I would love to meet Paul, and I would love to talk to Paul. And he's not very close. He is very close. I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments and talking at the same time, which I shouldn't be doing. Sue asks, have you guys ever had contact Jack or Irving's family? Yeah, there's a guy. I don't know if I should say his name, but there's one of I don't know I gotta dig out whose family, whose side, if it's Jack or Irving's side, but one of his, I believe, grandchildren or great grandchildren of one of them is on Facebook, and I chat from time to time. I think he's friends with Brad and Sandy and Jill, who are Shemp's family and obviously Curly's family. So I've chatted with him a bit. I'd love to get to know him. I'd love to maybe even head down to the city and go see him. Brad and I have talked about hitting the East Coast here and going to the Stoogium, which I've never been to. I know Brad's been. I've never been. I've always wanted to go, and I've gone to the conventions, and I never made it out there and meet Gary Lassen and then do a tour of the Stooge locations in New York City where they grew up, see if we could track down their schools and stuff like that. Um, are Gendricky? Yes, that is confirmed. I'm not going to speak it out loud, but I am confirmed. Pete, miss you too. You had spinal surgery. Oh, everybody, send some love to Pete. My goodness. Well, sorry to hear that. I hope you came out okay. Um, but also not far from here, about an hour from here, I been to the Howard's farm, and I was there, basically where Curly shot himself in the foot, right? And I think they lived there about 3 years when they were in their teens. They lived upstate New York. It's not far from me. I tracked it down. I shot a video years ago and I didn't cut it. And I wish I did. It was during during the pandemic, and I was here and I drove out and I met a woman because there was no public address. And I met a woman who knew where it was and she took me out there. So I went out there and I shot a video. I FaceTime with Brad and I FaceTime with Shem's family, Jill and Sandy, I think, and showed them. So that was kind of a thrill. It was really fun and it was neat to see. And apparently the owners, not that they're now, but the people who lived there before the people who own it now, tore down the barn, this gorgeous barn, apparently. And I don't know why they tore it down, but sadly that's gone. But the house is gorgeous and it's beautiful. And the lady who took me there was like, well, this is, Curly shot himself in the foot and Mo had to take this road. He took him and I don't remember the story super well, but I think I got it in the video. I think he took him in a wagon down this road across the river to Albany to go to the hospital to fix his foot. And for those of you who don't know, Curly had a limp, and you could see it. It's why he kind of walked funny like he did, because he shot himself. Let's see. An idea. Can you get as many family members together as possible? I can't talk about that publicly. Yeah, so I want to do more Stooge locations. The sad thing is we've done a lot of content. We've shot a lot of stuff that I just haven't had a chance to put out and put up for you guys. We went to see where Mo's final resting place was, and it was an amazing trip. Me, Dermick, and Brad went, and Dermick played Mo, and it was an incredible experience. And one of the most amazing things after we went, we stopped at a place called Dinah's, which we had heard was Buddy Hackett's favorite restaurant, right? For fried chicken. It's just like this old greasy restaurant. And I had a Mo Howard shirt on, and there was an old guy in the corner. He was the only other person in the room we were in. He goes, "Is that a Mo Howard shirt?" I met Mo. What are the odds? I know I've told this story before, but that's insane. And so he told his story about when he was a kid, and I think he was out in Vegas. I got it all recorded. I think he was out in Vegas, and he met him in an elevator, and he said, this guy was a little kid, and Mo was super friendly and super nice to him. So I just thought that was really kind of cool, and what a wacky coincidence. And we went to the steps from An Ache in Every Steak. We did a live from the steps, but we got to go back and we got to go hit some of the other locations. We did a live, me, Larry's great grandson, Kurt Lamond, and Brad. This was pretty amazing. You got to go to Curly G's channel to see this if you haven't seen this. Kurt's aunt, Christy, who just passed away, sadly, I think in November or December, she just passed, who's a lovely woman and knew Larry very well. And she had his key to the hotel that he lived in Hollywood. I think it was the Knickerbocker Hotel. So Kurt's like, "Look, I got the key." So we go down to see where we could, if we could get into the the hotel to see where Larry lived, right? And we did. And there's a couple locations. There's a couple locations right around the area that the Stooges shot in. There's also the Capitol Records building, which at the very end with Molar and Curly Joe, where they recorded their albums. Oh, yeah. So these, I think this was probably an original release. This is definitely after they've passed away in the 80s, but I've had this since I was a kid too. And I love these color picture records. Anyway, so yeah, so we go down, we tell the we tell the security guard who we are. And he not only let us in the building and took us up to Larry's apartment, but he got us on the roof. And that was a pretty magical experience being up on the roof. And just, feeling like Larry's presence, and what a difference it was, I think, when Larry lived there to when we went to visit. It was, it felt very run down, and I couldn't picture, Chrissy told me the story how like Cary Grant would come to the door. She'd answer the door and Cary Grant would be there. And I'm like, I can't picture that. So, all right, before we go on, I'm just going to answer some of your questions and see what your comments are. You almost knocked on the door. Yeah, I did. So you're right. Andy, speaking of Stooge merchandise, do you have any original RCA Columbia tapes from the early mid 80s? Which, like VCR tapes? Is that what you're asking? Why are you so cool? Thanks. Hey, I don't know. You might be the only one who thinks so. It's sad Aunt Chrissy Cutler got passed. Yeah, it was really sad. We've had her on. We had her on live a couple times, and I never really interviewed her the way I wanted to. You always think that there's time. She was young. She was really young, and I really wanted to. I really wanted to interview her. And sadly, we also just lost Michael Maurer, who was Tessa's father. And that was kind of unexpected. And I didn't get a chance to meet him either. And but it was really sad. We lost two recently. And so it's tough. Time doesn't stop. Unrelated. Yesterday, it was Zeppo Mark's 125th birthday. Wow. All right. Happy birthday, Zeppo. I'm a big Marx Brothers fan, as you guys might know too, just seeing on the YouTube channel. I just put up a couple Marx Brothers movies for you. My dad said he loves Curly and it's his favorite Stooge ever. Yeah. I mean, you kind of look here. I was going to say you kind of can't beat Curly, but you can come awfully close with Mo, Larry, and Shem. Shop Knuckleheads. Yeah, shopknuckleheads.com. Loyal 10. That's run by Kurt Lamont's Larry's great grandson, Kurt Lamont, who gives us a discount. Go check out Shop Knuckleheads for all your Stooge needs. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. Not sure if you saw, but yeah, they are VCR tapes. Yeah, I have some. In fact, I remember I might only have one. I think I only had one in those days. I had to watch them off TV or tape them off TV, but I did have one of those RCA. I loved the artwork on the cover of that. Whoever did that artwork, I'd love to track down that artist and thank him because he inspired me. It was such a great drawing, painting of the Three Stooges. And I think there's 3 or 4 shorts on there. And I remember Dizzy Pilots and A Bird in the Head were on there, and I watched them so many times, and that's why there's such a big spot in my heart for those shorts. And a lot of the marathons that I would make when I was working for Three Stooges Plus, I would include those a lot because they're such great classic shorts. They're so funny. I didn't realize as a kid how sick Curly was during A Bird in the Head. Right. I look at it now and, it's hard. So it's a little hard to watch, but it's also, he's so funny. He's so great. Yeah. Dizzy Pilots is so addicting too. I do wish that they had just shot their own ending. They tacked on scene from Boobs and Arms onto the end of Dizzy Pilots. right? And I think that was the first short that they started to reuse clips from. And I understand back then why they did it, but sadly, I really wish that it wasn't the practice in those days because we lost out on some good Stooge stuff. Is that Sammy Davis Jr. behind you in the Derby? Who's no? Wait, which one? Oh no, that's me. that's that's a tintype of me that somebody did when I was probably about 30 pounds thinner. Will there be a sequel to the 2012 movie? Man, I know they've tried. I know they tried to make a sequel. I don't really know. I don't really know what happened and um, why they never quite got that together. I think everybody wanted to make a sequel to it. I know there was a script to it. Um, and I actually talked to Mike Cerrone, who wrote the original one, basically with the Farrellys or for the Farrellys, and um, yeah, there was a script, but it never got anywhere. I'm not really quite sure why. And sad. I personally don't. I don't. Um, I would not like to see another movie. I'd like to see a show. I think the Three Stooges really they shine as 22 minutes. I mean, the shorts are only 17 minutes long, right? I think you could easily make them 22-minute shows, or you could break it up. I thought of doing writing a script for them when I was working for them and have just two 12-minute episodes and have, some kind of fun interstitials in between. Um, I don't know if that's necessary, but I think a show lends itself much better to a feature film about the Three Stooges. What about the Three Stooges Better Off Dead? Yeah. I don't know. That's something they want to do. I don't know anything about that. I know it's something that they really want to do. They might be working on it for all I know. You could say the steps from an ache in every steak really has its ups and downs. Yeah, that's funny. I would love to see a little Three Stooges series, kind of like Rugrats. Norman Mauer. I don't know if it's in this one. I don't think it's in this book. I think it's in this Three Stooges scrapbook. But Norman Mauer actually designed a little Three Stooges, that he wanted to do a cartoon of. I think it's not in this one, but I would love to have seen it, especially as a kid. I would have really loved it. Stooges versus modern technology. Yeah, Stooges could definitely be cell phones and all kinds of stuff. They'd be great. They'd be funny. Um, yeah, Stooge, baby Stooges with you guys as Stooge babies would be cool. It'd be funny. The Laurel and Hardy Festival in Harlem, Georgia, is the first Saturday in October. I know it's Ollie's hometown. I've never been. Um, in my opinion, the Little Stooges were the weirdest incarnation of the Stooges. Baby Ted Healy. Audio and video is a little out of sync. Is that for everybody? Is that weird? Is that true? What the heck is going on? Yeah. Annie, finally saw your Bad Shepherd movie. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm in a movie that I also produced that we shot, and it's on Hulu and Disney Plus called The Bad Shepherd. And I did man, I tried to sneak in some curly homages in there. I might have with the jacket. I can't remember. And I tried to get a skunk hat, but I didn't have one. I had a raccoon hat. But I do have some Jackie Gleason reference in there. I'm a nice man. Which, by the way, today is Jackie Gleason's birthday. We should celebrate Jackie Gleason. I'm a big fan. So not for me. Okay, audio is fine. Great. Yeah. So moving on. Where have we been? Well, like I said, we've been kind of really busy. We have been producing stuff for you guys. We have been putting stuff together. It's very slow moving, but we got a show that we've been working with Brad on for quite a long time now. And I think you guys would love it if we could get it done and get it out there. We're really proud of it. It's it feels very Stooges, although it's our own thing. And Brad plays himself, it's Curly G. And, it is in the tradition of those old shorts, and we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on more Stooge location stuff. We're gonna get back to doing more Stooge Talk live, hopefully every week. We really want to do that. Now, I got something else recently I found online, and this is it's a reprint. Now, for those of you who know me, I collect Three Stooges scripts, and usually got originals because they're hard to come by with copies. But here, this one is a copy of Fright Night, Shemp's first short, and it's it's written great and it's different. I mean, there's a lot of similarities to the actual finished short, but there's some differences. So I'd love to do a comparison for you guys. I'd like to do a table read with these. With this one, I probably got about 14 scripts now. Most of them were from Moe's collection that I spent way too much money on. But it's worth it. I felt like as a screenwriter myself, it's great research. As I was an official Stooge at the time, so I thought it would come in handy. We did Stooge Talk Live, and I was doing Three Stooges stuff. So we never really got to do too much with it. I did a couple table reads, I think, where I would watch and read the scene and then watch the short, and we would talk and compare them. So anyway, Fright Night, great script. This is the original shooting script, and you can see I don't know whose handwritten notes are on there, but you can see where they change stuff and cross stuff out. And I want to share this with you guys because, especially for you real diehard Stooge fans who want to know, and for people who are interested in filmmaking too. And as a kid, I always wondered how did they write that? Like, what did that actually say in the script? How did they describe that moment? And it's really enlightening to see actually how they did it, and to read them. And man, they read funny. They read great. And if you go to, I don't know how many of you are members of the Three Stooges fan club, but if you go to the Three Stooges fan club and you get any of their back issues, a lot of them have they reproduce script pages from Stooge shorts where they didn't film the scenes. So there's at the Academy Library, they have Jules White's collection of scripts. And I think you have to go there. I don't think you can copy them. I think you have to go there and you have to read them. So somebody went and did the research, wrote down, the pages or typed it up, whatever you're allowed to do. And, but they transcribed a lot of the stuff in the Three Stooges journal, which I gotta catch up on. I think I'm behind on a couple. We were just in New York and got to stop and visit James Cagney's resting place. Oh, where is he? I didn't know he was buried here. I got it. When my mom was young, when I was young, my mom worked for a man who did some work for James Cagney, and I got his autograph, an 8x10 autograph picture of him. I loved Cagney, man. He was great. I think Kurt Lamont gave Brad some stuff. Yeah. So somebody said, does Brad have anything from his grandfathers? Brad's got nothing from his grandfathers. He's got some good stuff, and I managed to get him a copy of a photograph from Moe's personal collection of the Three Stooges with Brad's grandmother. So Brad's got the original of that, and it's one of the very few original things he has. I'm not sure what he had since his mom passed away, what he found, but he might have some original photographs, or he might have some new stuff that I don't know about. But I'm gonna, we're gonna find out. We'll talk to him if I could ever get my car back up and running and back to LA, and get together with him for you guys and talk. So, but he's building quite a collection, and he's got a bunch of nice fans who've sent him stuff, but he's bought most of his own stuff. He's bought most of his own collection. It's sad. I think it's sad he's had to do that. And I was annoyed that, a picture of his grandmother with with the Stooges was actually up for auction. It wasn't just giving it to him, but none of my business. So anyway, what happened to my car? Oh, I got into an accident. For those of you who came in late, I got slammed. Not my fault. So where were we? Oh my goodness, we have so much more Stooge to talk about. Scripts we got. Okay, I just want to do a little shout out also for two of my favorite Stooge stuff right now. The Three Stooges Coffee, because I love those guys who run Three Stooges Coffee. They got the Moe's Angry Blend, Curly's Best Blend, and the Three Stooges blend. They got their own mugs. For those of you who ever want to sit down and have a cup of great coffee, check out threestoogescoffee.com. I'm just throwing out some love to them. And of course, American Mythology comic books. These guys are great. And there's a new comic coming out this year that Dermick wrote. He wrote one of the stories anyway. And it's a Mo-centric script. And they did some amazing artwork, and I've been waiting for this for a really long time. And man, I had such a great idea for a story and for a cover, and I didn't get a chance. I wanted to write one and send it in, and I haven't had a chance to do that. But if you get a chance, go support the American Mythology comic book guys and the Three Stooges Coffee guys, and drink some coffee while you read a comic book. The comic books are great. Rich Gallo, big Stooge collector, big Stooge fan, who corresponded with Curly Joe and Sitka, Emil Sitka. They hung out and pals, and Joe Besser. I think he actually went to Joe Besser's house. And Rich helps a lot and posts stuff in there. And I hope you're out there, Rich. You watching? Where are you? I meant to text you that I was going on, but I was running late, as you guys know. I didn't even tell my mom, so mom probably won't call in. I found some neat stuff going back to when I was a kid from the Stooge convention that I went to, and it looks like, if I didn't meet Paul Howard, which I kind of don't remember, he was there. He was there, and they gave us this photograph, and Suzanne Karen. And I've met a bunch of people, and again, my memory is not that great, but she was in Disorder in the Court, and yes, we have no Bonanza, and What's the Matador? And I remember meeting Mousy Gardner, and he was there, and I bought his book, and I still have it. And Mousy was just kind of like almost a Stooge, right? And I know he really wanted to be one. And I think at the very end, after Larry got sick, Mo got sick, and before he passed away, Joe DeRita wanted to continue on, I think, with the new Three Stooges, and Mousy was one of them. Mousy was one of those new Three Stooges, which they might have done like 2 live shows or something. Somebody will know better than me. But I think also Mousy took over as part of the Ted Healy Stooges after the actual Stooges left. And I did meet Ted Healy the second, and I remember meeting him, and he was very nice. I was a little intimidated by him. I remember being really big, but and then Harold Brower. It was in Three Lone Wolves, Fright Night, Sing a Song and Sixpence, Square at a Round Table, Fueling Around, Rip, Sew and Stitch, Fling in a Ring, Hot Stuff, Quiz Whiz, The Outlaws Are Coming. Oh, and it was in the new Three Stooges cartoons. That I didn't know. So this is fun. Look, and there was a picture of the boys with Sitka. But these are fun. These are from, I know I have more stuff from back in those days, and I don't know if I bought these or somebody bought these for me, but these drawings signed. I don't know how I ended up with these. I don't know if they were gifts or my dad bought them for me while I was there. No, Ted Healy Jr. is not still alive, sadly, and I don't know how he passed away, but I imagine he was kind of young. He died. Yeah, Ted Healy died. Rich, there you go. Were you there? I was just talking about you. And I have some old cards from when I was a kid. These, I don't even know when, going back. Jen and Trisha, these are the 2 girls I knew in junior high school. I was still friends with them. But it's so funny. Valentine's Day, the girls. And then this was always my favorite, and I don't know why, from my Uncle Joey. Life is just a bowl of Larrys. And whoever came up with this is one of the weirdest, most obscure cards. And I absolutely, I absolutely love it. And then when we did this, I was asked to do a cover. I was asked to do a cover when I was in junior high school of our literary magazine. It was a poetry magazine, and this is a really bad photocopy, but this is what it looked like. It was, hey, would you do this cover for our poetry magazine? And I was like, yeah. And so I drew the Three Stooges looking at a map. Aurora was the name of the magazine. Get lost in poetry, and the Three Stooges are lost. And I'm like, now where the anyway, I don't know why I think that's funny. And then I found some old calendars, and this was always my favorite ever since, and maybe because it was the first one, but graphically, this is the first of their famous calendar. I think they've been running calendars since 1985. And I remember getting this as a kid, and I've kept it all this time. And I love this. This must have been hand colored at some point, right? And just graphically, if you see the stuff I did for the Stooges, I think I've now that I'm thinking about it, I've been heavily inspired by that because I do these single decapitated heads on so many different things as graphics and stuff. But they also it feels very Stooges if you look at some of the old artwork and the movie posters and the bottle caps, and they got a little more sophisticated covers as they got older. Here's 1989. I don't know. I don't have the same feel. Although that's great. That's great. Hey, I could scan these. These are really high. Well, you think about it, I could scan these and get some really high quality photographs of these, and I love them. So I don't. I thought I had years and years of them. This is the weirdest. I remember this creeping me out as a kid. Okay, Three Stooges calendar published by Crab Walk. All right, this is just what the heck is that? Where's it? Why? Why is that? Why is that their logo? That is so distressing. And of course, a great shot of the boys. 96. So I was collecting them all the way until 96. I don't know if I ever stopped. I might have every single year. Oh, this was the year right after. This is also Crab Walk. Norman Maurer. This is back when, let's see. Can you see it? When Norman was still running the show. Yeah. Oh, Three Stooges trivia quiz in the back. I remember that. I used to just hang this up after this was really smart because it's a reason to keep the calendar after you've gone through the year. Let's see. This is easy. In what film did Moe and Larry's daughters play a silent bit part? All right, come on. Who knows this? Who knows this? I've been to this location. You guys are doing the old 76 joke. Anybody know? Moe and Larry's daughter. Pop goes the weasel. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why did you say no? Yeah, that's right. Pop goes the easel. That's how you got me. It's easel. It's when they're running from the cops, and they're running from the. That's why I said no. You totally confused me. So they're running from the cops, and the kids are doing the hopscotch, right? And they do the hopscotch as they're running. Anyway, I kind of thought that was really funny. That's it. That's it. Former Stooge ambassador. What do you mean? Am I done? Pop goes easel. Yep. All right. So what do you guys want to? So first of all, the verdict for tomorrow. Does anybody want to see? Do we want to do the Laurel and Hardy stuff? Is anybody interested in Laurel and Hardy choosing stuff for the museum? And if so, I'll do that. Also, I found a couple other things I wanted to share with you guys. Where the heck is everything? My little Joe Besser biography. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll do it. Everybody. Andy Rideau, where you been? Anybody read this? It's a great little book. He loved being a Stooge. Joe Besser loved being a Stooge. I know a lot of people have issues with Joe Besser as a Stooge, but revisit them. I mean, obviously he's so different, but the comedy in those days were different. It wasn't just him that was off. You know, they were very different, but there's some funny stuff. There's some funny stuff in there if you kind of take the Stooges out of it and just watch it without comparing. You're still miserable. Oh, that's not good, Andy. I did want to go and do a. We're running late. Boy, we're running late, but everybody's still on because I was thinking about going through just this week in Stooge history and just kind of running through that with you guys. If you got a couple more minutes, we might as well do that. I never found comedians today funny, and I'm 17. Aiden, everybody, give Aiden some love. We need young kids like, that's how I was at your age. That's how I was at your age. None of the comedians I found funny. I loved old comedy. Who introduced you to the Stooges, and who else do you like? Is it just the Stooges, or are you Abbott and Costello, Marx Brothers, Laurel and Hardy? Who else are you a fan of? I'd love to know more and how you got into it. When I was a kid in middle school, I tried being funny and trying to imitate Curly. Yeah. Oh man, me too. I would shave my head as a kid. I shaved my head as a kid just because of I was a big Curly fan. The other Milo's Buster Keaton. Yeah, he was a genius, right? Keep going all night. Oh, I don't know if I can. I know I miss hanging out. I'd love to be able to watch some stuff. We gotta do a watch along on something. I got some things we could put on. Jessica's been a Stooge fan for almost 7 years. Have you ever read the book that Mo wrote? Yes, I did. I got to reread it. It's been a couple years. Maybe only 4 or 5 years ago was the last time I read it, but I do got to reread it. There's a newer version called I Stooge to Conquer, which was the original title he wanted to put on it anyway. Charlie Chase. Oh, I didn't tell you what I'm doing lately. I'm so glad you mentioned Charlie Chase. Charlie Chase is a great comedian in his own right. From the silent film days into the talkie days, right? He had his own series. He worked with Laurel and Hardy. He's in Sons of the Desert. But he also wrote and produced and directed for the Three Stooges. In fact, it was his idea to do the B.A. Bicky Bye song. From what I understand, if I'm reading it right, his nanny used to sing that song to him. And so that was his idea. So Charlie Chase is an incredibly great comedian, very funny. I am working for a YouTube video. I'm working for a company. I can't believe I didn't talk to you guys about this. A YouTube channel called the Sprocket Vault, right? So check out the Sprocket Vault. Give it some love. It's there are some comedies on there. We got East Side Kids and we got Laurel and Hardy. There's some Martin and Lewis. We got a lot of Charlie Chase. My buddy Paul helped restored, if not, I think he restored all these classic Charlie Chase films, his Hal Roach films, and they're all up on the Sprocket Vault. And man, they are worth watching. And you could see some of these predate Laurel and Hardy teaming. So some of them have Oliver Hardy in it on his own, and some of them have Laurel and Hardy in it, but not together, not as a team. Yeah, so go check out the Sprocket Vault, especially if you like old movies. It's not just comedy. There's we got great Westerns and film noir and stuff. We had 150,000 followers today on that channel, and I'm very proud of that. And we've, especially since I started working for them, we've done really well. It's doing great, and I'm very proud of the company and the work that they do to restore it. They put a lot of time and money and effort into keeping the legacy of these films alive and restoring these films. And Paul, my buddy Paul Gorecki, literally who turned me on to and got me in there. He did the Stooges Men Behind the Mayhem documentary, right? He's the one who did that originally when it was a biography for the Biography channel. That was him. He wrote and directed and edited that, did all the research, interviewed all the Stooge families and friends and stuff. And he does the work with the Charlie Chase stuff, but the dedication to preserving these films and the legacy of these films is so important to them, and they're such nice people. They're such nice people. I called the guy who uh, who owns a channel the other day, and he goes, "Hey, Andy, I just want to make sure you're happy." I'm like, really? Okay. I'm not used to that. Let's just say that. But I love it. And these guys are great. And I'm hoping to do a lot of stuff. I wanted to do some live streaming with them and do some live talking with them as well, to do some other topics. And maybe we could get to that too, especially if a lot of you guys come over. There's some issues with live streaming like I was doing on Stooges, because a lot of the stuff is on other channels too, and there's a lot of claims against stuff. It's all bull, and you got to fight it, and you win. But there's a lot of crooks out there try to take advantage, so it makes it hard. Anyway, I'm kind of going way off on topic. But also today on this channel, this is my little play channel. I don't really do anything on this channel other than kind of play and talk Stooges and silly stuff, and I get to test what I want to do on this channel. I hit 6,000 subscribers on this one, which I really appreciate, because it's mostly comedy fans, I think. So I really appreciate it. I'm really excited. Although they demonetized this channel today. Not that I made any money. I think I made like $11 a month on this on a lucky month. but if you notice you can't send me a tip or anything, that's why. But who cares? I wanted to do this anyway. I love you guys. And I've missed doing this so much, you have no idea. So let's just do a little bit of this day in Stooge history. Let's go back a week in time to February 21st, and let's see what happened February 21st in Stooge history. So Higher Than a Kite, the Three Stooges film, was in production from February 20th through February 25th in 1943. Higher Than a Kite is it's one of those World War II shorts, right? Where they, Larry dresses up as, what did I mention before? That Curly was like Carmen Miranda. Well, this is basically Larry's chance. And the Stooges are trying to steal war plans. So that was in production. And is that right? 5 days? That's a long one for the boys. They didn't get any longer than that, from what I understand. But usually they're 3 or 4 days. This is a little late for them to be 5 days in, so that's kind of interesting. And Shemp was in his own production of Bride and Gloom, Shemp solo short. Also started production on this date in 1946. On the 20th through the 23rd. So that was a 3-day shoot that he did. On the 22nd, let's see what we have here. We have got some stuff. By the way, if you ever want to check any of this stuff out, go to threestooges.net. It is the greatest Three Stooges archive on the internet. It's fantastic. Anything you'll ever need to know. So Studio Stoops was in production starting February 22nd through February 25th in 1949. Studio Stoops is it's one of my favorite Shemp shorts. It's I believe it starts out they're janitors, right? And it's the one where Shemp's hanging out the window with the phone at the end. So I love it. It cracks me up. And somehow I'm having a hard time remembering the opening. I swear they're janitors in the beginning of that. But I don't know. Somebody else correct me. And the Stooges made their second appearance on the Steve Allen Show in 1959 on that date, the 22nd. Let's see. I'm just going to read. Is there going to be a new P.O. Box address? Yes, Andy. Actually, somebody sent us money to do a new P.O. Box, and we were just waiting to get back together so we could start that. But we are going to do it. The channel was The Sprocket Vault. Go check it out. It's on Facebook as well. And in fact, I'm going to start posting a lot of stuff on Facebook and getting a little more personal. So if you're ever on air and you want to chat, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of films, not just Stooges, but it's for any kind of classic film lovers. So go check it out on Facebook as well, and you'll see me on there popping around, putting up all kinds of fun little polls and tidbits and videos and all kinds of stuff. Now, February 23rd, just past 3 days ago, was sadly the anniversary of the death of Stan Laurel, who is one of the biggest geniuses of comedy, in my opinion. And he brilliant man, humble man, lovely man for everything I've ever heard about him, and one of the funniest and most brilliant men I think who has um, ever graced the screen. And he shared a film with the Stooges, Hollywood Party. They never met on film. I know there's letters out there. There seems to be like conflicting opinions whether how much he knew of the Stooges and about the Stooges. He must have known them, but I did read a letter. There's a wonderful website called Letters from Stan, which just, I guess Stan Laurel wrote so many letters because he responded to everybody who ever wrote them. And people have been gathering them for years and putting them on this wonderful website if you ever get a chance to read it. And one of them, he mentioned Shemp. And I remember, I believe he was talking about having just met Shemp a couple weeks earlier and what a lovely man he was. I could be getting that wrong. That is my memory. Stan Laurel gave Stymie of our gang his hat. Is that true? That's where Stymie got the hat. I mean, I'm not surprised, right? They're from Harrow Studios. There's some great pictures of the boys together with the Laurel and Hardy together with the our gang kids. Yeah. So one of my favorite places in LA is where Stan Laurel is buried, and he's buried in a cemetery right next to where Mort Howard was buried, which I have not had a chance to go see Mort yet. But Stan is buried in this beautiful cemetery, and it's also where, oh my goodness, what's his name from the Stooges? I can't believe I can't think of his name. All right, give me the two guys from the Stooges that everybody knows. Why can't? Oh my goodness, it's been late. It's late. I could see him. Come on, the big guy. Come on, Stooge fan. Vernon Dent. Thank you, Pete. My goodness, how embarrassing. Okay, so it's after 10 o'clock here. No, it's Vernon Dent. And Vernon Dent was also a lovely man, big fan of Shemp. Sadly, I think he went blind at the end of his life. And when somebody told me, I think it was Mort's wife, Jerry, who is still with us, God bless her, love her, wonderful woman, family. She treats me like family, and she is family to me. And she told me that when Vernon Denton came to the Shemp's funeral, he had to feel Shemp's face because he was blind, and nobody knew. Jerry's good. It's like no, I'm not back home. I'm stuck in New York. I got into a car accident, so I don't have a car to get back to LA yet. Jerry is wonderful. I miss her, and I miss her whole family. And I was texting with them today because in honor of Mort's birthday, obviously. If you get a chance, check out the Shem Howard Goyles on Facebook. For those of you who have not, they're lovely, all lovely ladies, from Jerry to Jill and Sandy to Chandler, the great-granddaughter, who is an amazingly big talent as well. Joel says, I used to talk to Lois Laurel years ago when she was on YouTube channel talking about her dad and her Uncle Babe. I did not know this. Stymie did receive Stan's Derby. I'm going to look that up. I met her once, but I never really talked to her. I did meet her. And I'm hoping to see her granddaughter at Laurel and Hardy's, the Laurel and Hardy exhibit. I'd love to see her, Stan's family. He's such a wonderful. So anyway, so Stan's buried at this cemetery, like I said, where Vernon Denton's buried, and Vernon Denton's probably got the best. Oh my goodness, I can't even think of it. What it says. It's I think Gentle Soul. I think Vernon Dent's. Tombstone says, and it's small. It's just into, oh, no, even better. Okay. I knew it wasn't right. Gentle Presence is on his tombstone. And it's a little marker. I can't even call it a tombstone. It's a little marker in the ground. Um, but it's on this hill. It's hard to find, and I've been there a lot. But it's such a beautiful, what a beautiful thing to say about somebody. Gentle Presence, and that's really all it says. And Stan Laurel, um, he's over there, and this cemetery it's made to be a park, and it's got a little museum there, and it's just such a beautiful place to go spend some time. And Buster Keaton's buried nearby, and there's a ton of celebrities there. But yes, it's Forest Lawn. It's Forest Lawn. Thank you, Pete. But it's if you ever get a chance to go, it is well worth going. And sadly, Oliver Hardy's he's not too far from there, and that's him. He's Oliver Hardy's buried also where Joe DeRita is buried, and I think Pugsley from the Addams Family, Simona Boniface is also there. Stooge and Gino Corrado from the Stooges, the opera. He's also buried, and that cemetery is not as nice. It's not a place you want to just kind of sit, sadly, and spend time there. But there's a lot of peace at where Stan Laurel's buried. So we'll talk more about Laurel and Hardy tomorrow when I pull out some. I have some really unique stuff. I think you guys will really get a kick out of when we look tomorrow. So, okay, back to on this date in Stooge history. Now we're on February 24th. We're getting closer and closer to this actual day. Let's see. Studio Stoops is still in production. We Want Our Mummy was released on the 24th of February, 1939. Obviously, absolute classic. I think We Want Our Mummy was the first short where they said who came in when they're called gentlemen. There's something with that one. And I can't remember there's definitely a version of it of the gentleman joke that is a first on We Want Our Mummy. In fact, if you just go to Three Stooges Plus and check out Three Stooges in the Fast Lane, We Want Our Mummy edition, we do a lot of back, behind the scenes on that one. And Healthy, Wealthy, and Dumb is in production starting on the 23rd to the 26th of 1938. Classic. Healthy, Wealthy, and Dumb. Curly's doing the he wins the contest, the motto contest, right? That's such a great short, man. It's so good. So let's see the 25th. What happens on the 25th here? Studio Stoops is still in production. Time Out for Rhythm, speaking of, begins production on the 25th of February, 1941, and lasts through a month. March 24th. But again, that's a feature film. They're just kind of got a small part in it throughout it, so they're in there enough times. But and it's there's some classic number where they're doing the dancing. If you haven't checked out Time Out for Rhythm, you got to find that scene, especially when they're doing the singing, because a lot of Stooge fans haven't seen it. You need to see it. It's great. The Stooges also appeared on Joel Bolton's Three Stooges Funhouse on the 25th in 1959. Now, it's funny that I tell you guys, I've showed you this, I'm sure. Somebody sent me a book of the Three Stooges encyclopedia that they got in a estate sale for $3. And in it was a photograph, a vintage photograph from Officer Joel Bolton's show, signed by Moe, Larry, and Curly. Like, it's really them. So whoever owned it was obviously a Stooge fan, might have been a kid at the time or a collector, put it in the book as a bookmark or to hide it. I don't know, but they sold this book with an actual Moe, Larry, and Curly autograph in it, and I got it for free. And the guy who gave it to me didn't even know he was giving it to me. So really kind of crazy. Yeah, I know no footage of Joel Bolton's Funhouse exists with the Stooges. I know, that's really sad. A lot of that stuff, a lot of that stuff's really uh, sad doesn't exist. A lot of those live things. So I tried to get a copy of the Three Stooges on the Ed Sullivan Show, like a nice clean copy, and I saw it. I saw it. I wanted to get it licensed, and I wasn't able to pull it off. And I tried to get it for Brad's channel, but they wouldn't even consider it, sadly. Because I want you guys to see it, and I really thought that, yeah, there is a ton of Stooges lost media. Some of it's out there, you just can't get to it. Like I said, like that, sadly. But man, I wish you guys could see it because it's really funny. It's Mo, Larry, and Curly Joe. Obviously, there's 4 different segments because they're on 4 different times. They do Slowly I Turn. They do their stuntman scene. They're the typical stuff that you see when you see live, but they're great versions, and they're super clean. They're really high quality versions, but I just can't get them out there, sadly. Okay, so today's the day on the 26th. Let's see. Like I said, Jackie Gleason was born in 1916. Tony Randall was born in 1920, for those of you who are a fan of The Odd Couple. And like I said, Mort Howard was born in 1927. So Mort was younger than my grandparents. My grandfather was 23 and my grandmother was 24. Part of My Clutch with Mo, Larry, and Shemp was released on the 26th of February in 1948. And Cactus Makes Perfect was released on the 26th of 1942, which is, that's such a classic. Short Curly with his invention, right? And then now on February 27th, sad day because it affected the Stooges incredibly. And that is when Harry Cohn died on the 27th of February, 1958, and basically ended the Three Stooges in their shorts at Columbia. As soon as he died, he was, they were the last to do shorts for Columbia. Harry Cohn was a big fan and made a ton of money off the boys, obviously. Jessica, I don't care about Harry Cohn. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm sure like Ted Healy, there's probably a lot of ambivalent feelings towards him, but he kept the Stooges on. He kept them working and he kept them going. And I think, maybe they didn't get the money that they should have, but I also do think that they were actually well paid and there was a lot of misconception. I mean, I think they worked like 12 weeks out of the year there, right? Like they weren't there full time. They went and they would work like 12 weeks and then they would go do their stage show where it's just really made their money. But sadly, Columbia treated them horribly after he died and just booted them. Unfortunately, I really haven't been catching up with the Stooges because I've been so focused in college. Get on it. Stooges college. I mean, who agrees with me, right? This stuff is topical and it's now. It's as important. This is going to do you well in life. Look at me. My whole life became the Three Stooges. I heard somebody said Red Skelton said at the funeral, they gave the people what they wanted. That's true. Oh, I don't know if it's true, but they sure did. Or he did. I don't know. Are you talking about him? So anyway, that's I think there's one last thing. Oh, and Three Lone Wolves was in production starting the 27th of February in 1946 and went through the 2nd of March 1946. Now, Three Lone Wolves, if you remember, it's basically Larry's short. Larry ends up taking care of the baby, and he's great. But what I understand is they wrote that for Curly, and he just couldn't handle it. He was just really out of it by then and really struggling, and you could see it, sadly. But man, Larry was a champ, and he is still, as much as everybody loves the Stooges and people love Larry, I think he's way underrated. Especially when you've seen the Stooges so many times and you've seen the shorts, you know what's happening. Focus on Larry Fine. Just do a pass where you just watch Larry Fine because he's hilarious. And I've said this before. I might laugh more at the other Stooges. I might laugh more at Mo and Curly or Shemp than anybody. I know I said Mo. I meant Curly or Shemp. I don't think I laugh harder than I do at Larry. When I laugh at Larry, he is just absolutely incredible, and he did everything. He did everything. Helen is buried next to Mo. Yeah, we saw Helen. What I didn't realize is Joan was also buried there. So when we went to go see Mo, we sadly didn't go visit Joan, and we're gonna have to go back. And you guys will see that. I will get that video out. We've gotten such beautiful responses to when we went to go see Curly and Shemp's resting place. That video is done really well. And I even ran into somebody at a coffee shop. A random guy we were talking about the Three Stooges. He goes, I just saw this video of Curly going to the cemetery. And I was like, oh, I was there. Does anyone notice that in the Joe Besser short, Rusty Romeo's, Joe brought a picture of him, but in a shot where Larry hits Mo with the shovel, there's a picture of Shemp? No, now I got to go back. I got to go back and look at that. That's so weird. Helen died 49 years after her cousin Harry Houdini on the same day. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Mo married Harry Houdini's cousin, Helen, who also Harry Houdini supposedly gave Buster Keaton his name Buster. If that's true, I don't know, but that's the rumor. Yes, you can still see Shemp's picture in the stock footage from Corny Casanovas. Oh, good call. Yes, please do like and subscribe. How is my movie going? So I was in Tennessee. I just did a little movie in Tennessee called Boot Lake. You guys got to check it out. It was written by 100 different people. It was really interesting. And I got to work with Martin Kove from Cobra Kai, Rambo 3, and, the first two Karate Kid movies. So great. He was so much fun. I came this close to ask him if he was a Stooge fan. I swear. We talked about Westerns and stuff, and I didn't get a lot of time with them, but I just had a feeling, and it was literally the first question on my mind. For those of you, just personally, there's no trailer. We just got done shooting it. What was interesting about this is the idea was this guy, Marcus Johns, who's a really super close friend of mine. He's like family. He came up with this idea. He was a big Vine star back in the day, social media kid, but he was a great actor. He's been acting since he was a little kid. He was the kid in the original Punisher movie, right? But he came up with this idea where I'm going to get 100 different people to write a screenplay. Everybody's going to write one page. And for the past 4 years, he put this together, got 100 people. Everybody wrote a page. He's been making a documentary, and they finally filmed the movie. I got a part in it. And I went down to Tennessee. I was down there for a couple of weeks. We got really messed up in the snow and the ice, which is another reason I wasn't back in LA. I didn't get a chance to get back here in time. But I did shoot Monster Hunter and Go Getter. So for those of you who haven't seen it, again, I've been working on a little web series called Monster Hunters and Go Getters, and you can see it on my other channel, Andy Pagana. There's a black and white version on this channel, but it is definitely an homage to those classic, horror comedies that the Stooges did and Abbott and Costello did back in those days. And I'm glad you guys like it. There's going to be more coming. There's definitely going to be more Stooge stuff coming. Big baby's coming, I promise. There's like 3 episodes, half in production. I got a movie idea that we've actually started. I'm in this bottleneck of post-production stuff, and we got, like I said, we got a lot of stuff for Brad's channel. Brad and I have been shooting so much for years. I got footage when we went in 2016 to the last Stooge convention that they had, right? So we went to the Stooge convention. I shot the whole thing. There's some video of Brad on the plane, and I made a little promo, but all the families were there. Joan was there, Adam West and Will Sasso. Will Sasso, was he there? Yeah, Will Sasso was there. And Chris Topolous. Actually, there is a little video out. It's when I known Chandler for years at this point, But I didn't spend a ton of time with her, and I got her to do interviews. And so Chandler, Shemp's great granddaughter, is out there doing interviews, and she's interviewing people about the Stooges. But there's a lot of footage out there, and I gotta get that stuff out for you. Brad, I think, is really angry at me for not doing that. I don't blame him. Maybe I don't edit it. I just put out the raw footage, and I got some behind the scenes. I mean, when we did the Three Stooges live show and we traveled the country, I was basically making a mini documentary. No, not even a mini documentary. I was making a documentary, right? And I recorded every rehearsal until at the very last minute I got told I couldn't. I tried to record the shows and I kept getting in trouble for recording the shows. I tried, but I did record us doing a 20-minute like presentation in New York City on the live show. So that I could just put out on its own. I never wanted to really give a bad impression of what the show was. And not that it's a bad impression, but it's just like us on the stage. There's no like real presentation to it. But it might be worth watching. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. And there's some footage out there of us doing the courtroom routine where I'm playing Curly and Brad does the give me your hat routine with me, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, we have so much stuff. I'm trying to get it out for you guys. We're really trying our best. Ahoy, Scrappy Nico. But I have missed you guys so much. I've missed doing Stooge Talk. Tomorrow night, I'm going to get on here and we're going to talk Laurel and Hardy. I'm going to show you stuff that we're going to put on for the museum. And I'll take us down. Maybe I'll do live at the museum when we do the opening night, because I'd really like to be there for that. And we're going to do more. I can't do Stooges. I can't be Curly anymore, but I can sit here and talk Stooges all I want, and do location visits and do interviews and do all kinds of stuff. And so more Stooge stuff coming to you. I promise. I don't know if I'm going to make it back, when I'm going to make it back to LA. So if I'm here next week, which most likely, maybe I could get Brad, if we could figure out how to do a video and get Brad on here with video. Rich and I had done it before. I was trying to figure it out today. Brad's on a plane right now, so he couldn't even join me if he wanted to. But if I don't make it back, so let's see, maybe we could get him on here. I just can't slap him this way. I can't slap. Oh, see if I remember. Did I get it right? No, this is Boink. I think this is a little. This was a gift from Chandler and her husband. I think I need to reprogram it though. Okay, great to have you back. How about become Curly with a K? I did pay my cable bill. Hey, look, we've done okay. Man, I love you guys. There's so many people on. I don't know. Do you want to talk more? I don't know what else to talk about. We've kind of gone through everything. You're still a moderator, and I'll make you unofficial Stooge ambassador of my Facebook group. Let's go. I appreciate it. Yeah, great to have you back. It's great to be back, man. I have missed the boys. I've missed you guys. I've missed chatting. I've popped into the live stream every once in a while. I miss Curly G too. I haven't seen Curly G either. Tell us what's been going on. Well, I mean, if you really want to know, I've been busy. So I did a cooking show. So for those of you who don't know, I'm part of a comedy team called Schwartzy and Pagana. Hold on. Let's see. This is all I have. Oh, I might have. Do I have finger puppets here? I have some wacky stuff. Okay. Schwartz and Pagana. Here's now this is very inspired by the comedy of those days. Probably more of Abbott and Costello. If we're both Abbott and Costello, because there's not one straight guy and one comedian. We're both like comedians to each other. Since I've been working more with Stooges, and I've definitely, I think I've added, not unintentionally, but unconsciously, more slapstick, more slapping and stuff. We had a little coffee for a while. There was our coffee brand. Oh wait, I might have here's our coffee, right? Here's a Schwartzy button. Does that mean we have to get a day job? No, we ain't getting day jobs. So, but I sold a cooking show. Me and Schwartzy sold a comedy cooking show, and it is basically, if Abbott and Costello or the Three Stooges kind of had a cooking show, right? And not quite that bad, because as much as I wanted to destroy the kitchen every episode, we weren't able to do that. But and a lot of it is improv. So we would get a guest who had no idea who we were, and we would do a cooking show, and we had this. I don't know how much I could give away, but first of all, our first guest was Curly G. He was our first guest who came in and kicked off the show. And he also cameos in the second episode. So Curly G's on the show. That'll give you an idea. And we cook pie. So that'll give you an idea of the show. We shot 24 episodes, and I've been editing them. So that's the main event of what I've been doing. Yes. And my mom is in a couple episodes. You see her in one, you hear her in a couple other. Wait, so hold on just real quick. I want to go. My dad said I would get in trouble if I wrote a short story about you guys on Stooge Talk Live. Now, you tell your dad we want you to. Old soul, you give us as much. I told you, didn't I tell you this already? You write your stories, send them out. We got to finish reading one that we got already. Yeah, I didn't tell my mom that I was on tonight. She would have called in. I should have had her come down. She would have just ended up slapping me. So cooking show. So I've been editing the cooking show. That's kind of been the main event. Been working on a show with Brad, with also me and Schwartzy are in it. But it's a Brad centric show. So very stoogey. We've put out a couple little shorts. I was going to put one out tonight, but I was having trouble pulling the footage in time. So I'm going to put out a little more. I'm going to make a little preview, but you guys will see what's coming. So that's been it. I did this movie. I'm writing some stuff. Me and Schwartzy trying to shoot some new stuff, but I got to get through this cooking show. We have 24 episodes. I'm trying to get them to release them on YouTube. So, you don't have to go find it on Hulu, you can put on that stuff too, but I think our main event should be right here. I would love to release the episode with Brad and right on his channel, give him those two, and then upload the rest on our Schwartzy Pagana channel, which you haven't checked out. Go check it out, Schwartzy and Pagana. I don't know if I could put it in the, I don't know if I could put it in the chat. I don't know if it works that way, but check us out. And we're going to be talking, when I get back to LA, we're going to be doing a lot more, comedy, and, we're starting to put up some old, comedies that, we want to do some watch alongs with you guys on, and discuss. So let me see. You put a link in the chat? Good, because I can't seem to. There it is. But anyway, come find me and Schwartzy. You'll get the idea. I'm trying to keep it much more kid friendly than we may have done in the past. I like the classic humor that anybody can watch. So, but we're working on it. We're working on it. It's a lot of fun. We just put up our version of Slowly I Turned with Zoe Bell, who was the lead in Tarantino's movie Death Proof. And she was in Django Unchained after that, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But that was her big movie, her first movie she was the lead on. And we did her first comedy. So don't give it away, Jessica. Well, I can't really do Fastlane anymore. I'm not really, that doesn't belong to me. So I'm not really allowed. So maybe we could do a version of it that we can't show the shorts, but if they want me to do it, I'm happy to do it for them. I'd love to do it. Do you have a favorite dark ride at an amusement park? Ooh, no. Oh yeah. Space Mountain. Oh, did anyone get to see what I was talking about? No, I'm the oyster soup bit. Okay. So, I watched the oyster soup bit. First of all, I think it is one of the funniest pieces of film ever put on film. Curly, when if you need to show anybody the brilliance of Curly Howard, uh, i- his reactions from beginning to end on the oyster bit are unsurpassed. I mean, it is an absolute brilliant feat of comedy. And I have been trying to figure out how to make or have made one of those oyster bits where I think it's pretty simple, right? It's a bowl with a hole in it with a puppet of an oyster that's got to be sealed so the liquid doesn't get out, but it's also got to have a tube. So I'm not done trying to figure that out because I think that would be a great gag, and Curly G definitely needs to do it. I he also needs to stuff a turkey. Although I don't know if you guys saw, we did a live a Stooge Talk live at Chandler's house where we cooked something from this Three Stooges cookbook, and it was Larry's family and Shem's family and Curly's family. The sound's terrible. Her house is so big, and there's no the sound was, and I think we did it on the laptop, so the sound's not great. But man, it was funny. We hurt Brad too. We broke some plates over his head, and he was bleeding. I didn't just because something's a breakable doesn't mean it's supposed to be broken over your head. Um, Curly did the oysters too better than Costello. Costello's very funny. I don't think anybody beat Curly on that bit, but Costello cracks me up. Paul Bratz, I think this is one of the greatest ways to describe this. Dutiful but dumb was just a big, giant Curly Howard highlight reel. It's so true. It really was. But yeah, it really was because him in the radio, right? He's so funny. Wait, he got hurt during what bit? What did he get hurt doing? No, he got hurt eating the lobster, right? When he was eating the shells of the lobster, he got hurt on. I made the bowl for a gag years ago. You could make one, Craig? No way. Get out. Can you really? You know how to do that? Facebook me. Let's do it. Yeah. And him with his head on it. It was a crab. Was it a crab? Oh, yeah, it was a crab. Why did I call it a lobster? He was a comedic genius. Who is it? Railway Films official. What's up, Eddie Began, AK? Modern day Curly Howard. Oh, Brad got hurt at Chandler's. Yeah, Brad got hurt. Brad's been hurt quite a bit. Thank you, Craig. If you make one, we are going to feature it, boy. Don't worry about that. That's going to be amazing. Mo is allergic to shell crab. I didn't know that. Yeah, you do, Jessica. You have a lot of Stooge knowledge. You and Will Sasso are both good curlies. Yeah, Will, he's tall. He's tall though. I saw him in real life. He was like 6'3" or something. Yeah, he's really tall. But if you guys haven't watched, all right, hold on. I'm gonna find this short on Brad's channel because if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. And it might be the first thing that if you want to see Schwartzy Pagana and see what that's all about, you see the first thing we did with Curly G, and it was a short, and he got hurt. I'm gonna put this in the chat. You guys click it right now, bookmark it or something. Because he was bleeding after this a lot. He was beaten up for a couple days. And in fact, he's such a good sport. After the cooking show, he was so bad, I thought he might quit for good. I really did. I mean, he's such a good sport, and maybe I misjudged it, but there's a big part of me that I thought he was like, oh, he's hurt. And I'll be honest with you, I had to call poison control and make sure he wasn't going to die. That's a true story, and it was an accident, and it wasn't my fault. But I won't tell anymore until you actually see it. But that's a true story, and so that just goes to show you're going to have to watch this cooking show, especially the episode with Brad's in it. And I'm gonna try to make a little promo for it soon and see if I don't own it. We were hired to do it, and but I love the producers. They're really good to us, and they're very open to ideas on how to distribute stuff. And I really want to, um, uh, I really want to get it up on YouTube, but I think they let us promote it on there, and I'm gonna show you. I got to show you what these some clips with Brad in it. The other me says, does anyone else like Paul Lind and Charles Nelson Riley? So for those you know, Chris Dermick, who plays Mo, Charles Nelson Riley was his mentor, a very good friend, and he knew him really well. And he does some great stories, incredible personation. He's got some great stories. Most of them you can't really tell on YouTube, or we have to bleep them out or something. But a lot of great stories about Charles Nelson Riley. I whole Poland was fun too. I liked them as a kid. Yeah, Brad got taken a beating. And he's gotten a lot. So that short, I don't know if you guys watched that short. I'm going to put it up here again just for you guys to go check it out, because you know we really give it to him. And when he was done, he was like, oh, that was great, guys, but he's like bleeding. Annie, since you've been doing Monster Hunters, I wonder, do you believe in the supernatural? Oh, it's an interesting question. I'm not sure. It's a deep question. That's a whole. Yeah, there's something. I don't know if it's good though. I'm thinking it's not good. Annie, can I ask, how are the pajamas and shower curtains? The pajamas are very cozy. And the shower curtains, I think we want to try to make them as like our backdrop, because we don't have 8 showers, but they're good. I still have them all. But thank you, Andy. Those are good. In fact, I got to find out where you got those made. We might need some Schwartzy Piano ones. Brad has the worst luck. Yeah, we. He's a good sport, man, but he is taking a beating. Another thing we did. That's not up on YouTube, because we got taken it down because we were dumb enough to put the curly shuffle in the edit. And so YouTube took it down and we never fixed it and put it back. I have to start from scratch. Is on Curly's 113th birthday, Brad comes to me and Schwartzy and says, okay, guys, I want to go around Hollywood and get hit in the face with 113 pies. So me and Schwartzy Pagana take Curly G and we drive him all over to get hit in the face with 113 pies in honor of Curly's birthday. Oh my God. And we did. I mean, I think we got like through 80 of them by strangers. And then at the end, we had to, we just had to give them the last, I think 36 or whatever it was, just me and Schwartzy, and just in one do. And we got them good. And that's not up. I got to put that up. You guys would love that. What shall we do on Curly's 123rd birthday? All right, I'll tell you what. Every year, Brad wants to do something for the birthday, and it's usually too last minute and too ambitious for as last minute as we come up with this idea. So if you guys have an idea, for what to do for Curly's birthday this year, let us know, and Brad will do it. Brad should play his own Grandpappy. Yeah, he won't. Brad doesn't want to be Curly. He and I understand it. He doesn't, he's his own thing. And feels like he could never live up to Curly, and just wants to be Curly G. He'll play Larry, right? He likes doing that. But I get it. He did say he would shave his head for charity. He would never shave his head, but he would do it for charity, for kids, for sick kids. If we could ever figure out how to make it big enough, he would definitely do that to raise money. He's got such a huge heart. He's fun as Larry. Brad's fun as Larry. He does, as Brad says, he does his version of Larry, which is exactly right. Did you see the Stooges on Hollywood Squares? I don't think the Stooges were ever on Hollywood Squares. That would, I didn't see it, but Google says they were on Hollywood Squares. I think that's a lie. I love Joe Besser. I think, like I said, somebody asked, what's your thoughts on Joe Besser? I love Joe Besser, First of all, I love him in Abbott and Costello. Um, as Stinky, he is absolutely hilarious. He's a little strange as a third Stooge. I think the problem with Joe Besser as a Stooge is more about the budgets of the shorts in those days than it were about Joe fitting in. You know, they shot some of those in like a half a day or a day. You know, they didn't get five. We were talking earlier about how, you know, they shot that one short in 5 days. You know, Joe Besser didn't get that. Um, you know, in comedy just was different. Somehow they were shooting it different. They looked different. The pacing was different. Maybe because they were trying to stretch out a shorter script into a longer format. You know, you can't compare him to Curly and Shemp. I like that he's not trying to be either one of them. You know, he only did 16 shorts, so there's that. And and they were slower then, right? Like it's a lie that he wouldn't take a hit and he didn't want to take a hit. I think that biography really kind of did him dirty. That Three Stooges biopic. He wasn't like they wasn't arrogant. Like I want watch the shorts. He takes it. He gets hit. Gets hit in the face. He's funny. There's some really funny stuff in those shorts, and they're shot very differently. So there's some as a filmmaker, there's just some beautiful stuff in how they were shooting it. But the problem is you're comparing them to you know the greatest one of the greatest comedy teams of all time with the greatest third stooge of all time, whether you're talking about Curly or Champ, right? They're just unique and brilliant. Uh, you know, you almost can't compare. I actually would have loved to have seen Dudley Dickerson. I think after Shemp died, Dudley Dickerson was the absolute perfect third stooge. He was different enough um, than Curly and Shemp. I love the ball. Like physically, he's funny looking, and he was just funny, and he was just like he felt like he could fit in with the boys. He felt like, you know, uh, he would have been so funny. People mentioned, I think Mo had mentioned Mantan Moreland. I don't know how true that is. I think that's been debunked that he never actually suggested that. I don't know where that came from. I have to look more into that. But um, I would say absolutely 100% Dudley Dickerson would have been the perfect third stooge. They could have kept going. But they couldn't do the shorts that they were doing. If you look at the shorts that the Stooges did, those 16 shorts that Joe Besser did, I don't think that would have fit either. They would have had to gone back to the the subject matter that they were doing, you know, earlier. Some of them are the same, right? Because some of them are just kind of ripoffs, right? The Pies and Guys, um, you know, but if you really got back to the Stooges as plumbers and Stooges in haunted houses and Stooges as you know uh, working men, right, are trying to fit in society, and had Dudley Dickerson as a third Stooge, I I think we'd be talking about um, we'd be talking about them. People would be saying that he was their favorite third Stooge for sure. So. Was watching All Gummed Up with Shemp on Tubi before this. Yeah, somebody was just complaining about All Gummed Up. I know it's a weird. I love it. It's so many weird, just like ends. Um, it's just eating. Like after short, it's just them eating cake with bubble gum, uh, which was just taken right. It wasn't even original to that short. Joe DeRita was also funny as a stooge. So when you see Joe DeRita, Curly Joe on the live, you understand why they picked him, right? He was really funny. He was really funny in those live Ed Sullivan and Steve Allen uh you know sketches that they did live. I would have loved to have seen him live with the Stooges. And the comedy changed, right? The comedy changed you know, when Joe DeRita came in and the Stooges were running on TV, they they weren't as violent. More purposely didn't didn't want to do the violence, as much because little kids were watching them. So they were geared towards much smaller kids. I still find them very entertaining. I love these records as a kid. Yeah, again, I don't, I listen to them for nostalgia now, right? But I don't know. There's something about the Curly Joe era. There's great merchandise from them, and he's got some funny stuff. And those movies, I love the movies. Uh, the Outlaws Are Coming is great, and Three Stooges Meet Hercules, and the feel of the movies were just different. They didn't feel like the 30s or the 40s or the 50s, right? I also love Kook's Tour, and one of my big disappointments, especially about leaving the Stooges, is my my goal. I really wanted to restore that film and get Kook's Tour, like a nice, clean, beautiful copy out there. And I think there's something so beautiful, and knowing that Larry had a stroke on it, but how meta it was, where they're playing themselves in retirement. I don't know how many of you have seen it. There's just bad copies out there, but um, there are some pristine prints of it that have just never been able to put out. If I had the money, I would do anything to restore it. And I really tried. And there's a lot of film, a lot of outtakes and stuff, from what I understand. That I'd love to see, but more importantly, I would just love to see the final. It does need a restoration, and um, wasn't sad thing. It was they kind of forced it to be what it ended up being. It was supposed to be like an episode or a TV show, right? And then Larry had a stroke, and then there goes a TV show. They had to turn into a film. And they had to, cut around, Larry being sick and stuff like that. But I think it's great. There's something so beautiful about it being their last film. Um, yeah, I don't know if funny enough, Railway Films, I don't think it was shot on 35 millimeter. I think it's a 16 millimeter project, and it was shot on 16 millimeter. And from what I understand, um, I don't even think there was a script that existed. I think it was all improv as they kind of went along. I found some neat stuff when I was working over there. I think I put it out, or at least showed it, of like Curly Joe's expenses during Kook's Tour. And from what I understand, they did it for free, right? They didn't get paid. They did it on spec to try to sell it. And they may have even put money into it. If I can't remember the whole story, but I'm sure I wrote it down because I was doing an article about it that I never finished. But I gotta find that, because there's something interesting about it. Like, these guys really put into it. They were trying to make it happen. You have a 60 millimeter. You have a beta version. Wow, that might be worth something. Yeah, I mean, one day I hope it gets restored. There was a print on eBay a couple last year or something. If I had the money, I just would have bought it. I just would have bought it, scanned it, so I could at least watch it. I can't. I'm not allowed to show it. I wouldn't be able to. But the Stooges' legacy always lives on. That is so true. All right. All right, let's see if Brad can run up those 140 steps stairs carrying an ice cube. Yeah, we got to try that. He did run up the stairs, I think, on the live. I'd have to look for that. Um, William says Kook's Tour is good. Remember first time watching it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. It's different. It's just not. It's not going to be 1930. I mean, I was shot in 1969. The Curly stuff started in 1934 for Columbia. 33, I think, for MGM, even before that, right? So, like, look at how long they lasted. That's crazy. And we're still not only talking about it today. There's a small industry that is still based on the Three Stooges, right? So they're not only live on, they thrive, and they have somehow outlasted, in my opinion, in popularity, any other of their contemporaries going back to Chaplin. I think the Stooges are. I mean, people might recognize that Chaplin exists, but I think more people know who the Three Stooges are. More people are aware of, have seen their stuff. More people are diehard fans than Laurel and Hardy, the Marx Brothers, who are all but forgotten, Abbott and Costello, and W.C. Fields, and those are the top. I mean, think of the ones who didn't make it, right? Wheeler and Woolsey, and Olson and Johnson, all those other comedians, the Rich Brothers, that nobody even remembers anymore. And the Three Stooges. I mean, there's a coffee, which, by the way, get your Three Stooges coffee at threestooges.com. There's a coffee and a comic book still going, right? An American Mythology. Check out the comic books. You know, you're not seeing that. Although there is a Laurel and Hardy comic book also at American Mythology, and Laurel and Hardy meet the Three Stooges finally in their comic books. For those of you like me who have waited their entire life to read that. Yeah, the Three Stooges, man, their legacy, absolutely, they would be so thrilled. I think they would be so thrilled. Little Rascals, that's another one. Little Rascals should be so much bigger than they are, right? And it feels like Little Rascals could have easily have been an ongoing series. You didn't necessarily, although, you know, there is something iconic about Spanky and Alfalfa and Darla, right? Those, but there were so many before them. You know, that definitely could be an ongoing series. Spanky and Mo face off. I have a script that when Hal Roach was trying to renegotiate his deal with Laurel and Hardy, he kept Laurel and Hardy's contract separate. So Stan Laurel's ran out before Oliver Hardy. So Oliver Hardy had to still make movies. And Hal Roach didn't like what Stan was doing to renegotiate his contract. So he had now, I believe he announced it. I don't know if he went that far, but I think he may have. But he was going to give Oliver Hardy his own series with Oliver Hardy, Patsy Kelly as his wife, and Spanky as his son, which, by the way, Spanky's a perfect casting for Oliver Hardy's son. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. And how that didn't happen, even in a Laurel and Hardy short, is beyond me. It should have happened. But, and I think obviously it never happened. And then the script, I think, got made into a Charlie Chase short. Speaking of Charlie Chase. But I have the original script, and I'll be showing that tomorrow when we talk about that. Yeah, they said Spanky Slow Burns look were imitation of Oliver Hardy. Obviously, yeah, that's great. So I agree. I mean, it has to be, right? I mean, they were hanging out there. Oliver Hardy was so popular. I'm sure he watched that and did it. It seems an absolute probability, if not just a possibility. Were Laurel and Hardy true friends off screen? So. The answer is yes, but not until later, right? I don't think they really spent any time together in the 20s and 30s, but when they started touring in the late 40s, mid to late 40s, I guess, maybe early late 40s, when they started touring, they became really close friends. Yeah. And they were really close, which is nice. You know, it's nice to know, and it's nice to know, you know, like the Stooges. Like you hear Kurt tells a story about how, you know, Mo came over to help Larry wallpaper the bathroom. Like, can you picture that? Hey, come on over, help me wallpaper the bathroom. And he said, if you hear the story, they legitimately turns into a Three Stooges short. I just think with cursing. I did see Stan and Ollie, and I think John C. Reilly transformed into Oliver Hardy. It was it was a crazy film, and I love that film. I think it's very inaccurate. You know, they never had the blowout like they did in the in the movie. They dramatize it, and there's a lot of things in there that like, are not accurate, but I think it gives um the emotional truth of Laurel and Hardy. And I think it's a great film about the entertainment business, if not the greatest film about the entertainment business. It's so beautiful, and I wish they would give the Stooges a similar treatment. But John C. Riley was incredible. And Railway Films. Why isn't there a Stooges Wacky Racist crossover? I have no idea, and I don't know how nobody has mentioned that before, but that definitely needs to happen. That should have happened a long time ago. Now, yeah, that's a natural, man. My grandpa played with Spanky as a kid. No way. No way. I didn't know until tell us more. And you didn't know until after your grandpa passed away. How old's your grandfather? When was he born? Stephen Coogan as Laurel. Steve Coogan was a great Stan Laurel. Like there's two Stan Laurels. There's a Stan Laurel who was on stage and in the movies, and then there's a Stan Laurel who was, the real Stan Laurel. And Steve Coogan, I think, was a great real Stan Laurel. I think he was a little off as to. I don't want to. He did an amazing job. I can't talk bad about him. I think what drove me the most nuts about him is his hat was too big. They gave him this hat that was way too big for his head. Stan Laurel wore a child Scottish derby. It was too small on him. And I don't know how they got that detail wrong, but it drove me nuts. And I don't know why that drove me nuts, but it absolutely did. Yeah, Laurel and Hardy are so loved, especially worldwide. That's the thing about the Stooges. They don't have the worldwide notoriety, right? I think they only went to England one time, and with Curly. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they didn't, to tour. And I don't think their films were big over there. And I don't know why. I mean, they're no more American than Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy relied much less on. Here's the problem. Laurel and Hardy, I was going to say, relied much less on talking, but the Three Stooges were so physical. They were so funny. I don't really know why. The Laurel and Hardy have heart that I don't think any other comedy team has, especially the Three Stooges. Like Laurel and Hardy, you could actually feel bad for. Like there are 3D, no, 3D is not the third-dimensional character. They're full rounded human beings. They're little children in the sense of all their emotion, right? The Three Stooges, I think, are just kind of surfacey characters, right? And I don't think that I'm not saying anything bad about the Stooges, but they don't have heart to them, right? Like Laurel and Hardy did. I don't know. It's funny, man. Like that's how you know a great comedian. I was watching Hog Wild this morning. It's on my channel, and there's a saying that like good comedians do funny things, great comedians do things funny, and there's and it cuts to Stan Laurel driving a car, and I don't know why it's funny, but it's just funny. He's not doing anything. He's just driving, and he's just funny driving. And I think the Stooges were that way. I think Curly's that way. Like he's just funny. Like you see him and you can't help but kind of laugh, right? You can't help kind of smile. I mean, Curly had such boyish charm, right? He just had such a great smile and such a boyish charm. Stan Laurel was just such a dope, but I just like just stand there. You just look at them. They're funny to look at, and you could dress as them for Halloween. I always thought that as a kid. I was like, that's how you know, like you got a good character. Like you could dress as them for Halloween, and you could see these guys in silhouette and know who they are. That's how iconic they are. I mean, the Three Stooges, you could just do their haircuts and you know who you're talking about. Laurel and Hardy could just do their hats. You put two derbies together, you pretty much know who you mean. Stooges have a lot more memorable catchphrases. That's good. I wish Larry had more. Leave him alone. Like Larry doesn't really have too many or any. Yeah, they do. I mean, they're easy to imitate. I mean, Laurel and Hardy got, I'm sorry, Ollie. Here's another nice best you got into. Why don't you do something to help me? Right. And then there's a couple like, one-liners that you remember, but they're not repeatable catchphrases like the Stooges have. I can't do it. Dermot can do it great. I believe the studios took advantage of the comedians. Yeah. Yeah. I think the studios took advantage of everybody they could. When you hear the stories of like how they treated Judy Garland from Wizard of Oz, or they were brutal. They were brutal. Sting said the Three Stooges never came to Australia during their lifetime. So the Three Stooges, are you from Australia? Because the Three Stooges, that's the only other place I know of around the world that they're really big, is in Australia. What's all the rumpus? What's the big idea? Yeah, that's a good one. All right, that's a good one. Curly was so childlike in his acting. Yeah, he was. He was so natural. Larry's signature joke was about the reform school. Yeah, that's a good one. Reminds me of reform school. Curly was the original Robin Williams. It's an interesting. That's an interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that. But I mean, especially when you're talking about improv, I think that there's some truth into that, and energy. Robin Williams, especially young Robin Williams, had so much energy. Although I'm sure it was, personally, James Finlayson is the funniest foil to Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, I love Finn. He's so funny. Curly at one time spoke with his real voice. He sounded like Moen Shemp. Yeah, you could every once in a while, especially early on, you could kind of hear it. It gets to the end of his career, and he's almost a parody of himself, right? In terms of he's like forcing the voice really high. I got a tape for him that's good enough for him. Yeah, but that joke gets kind of kicked around. That's not just a Larry one, if that's what you're saying. But I like it when Laurel and Hardy took on Charlie Hall. Yeah, me too. Charlie Hall is so funny, especially in Laughing Gravy. I'm genuinely surprised Judy never starred in a Stooges comedy, but while she was under contract with MGM. She was probably too young. MGM. So Judy Garland, I don't know what time when she signed on, but I think the Stooges were done with MGM by like 1933. Joel, you're leaving? Everyone got to go. Good night, because Joel's leaving. Bye, Joel. Thanks for popping in. Alan Hale Jr. was inspired by Oliver Hardy. Yeah, okay. So if you watch Alan Hale Jr., the skipper from Gilligan's Island, it's not just breaking a fourth wall looking at the camera. Every movement, he's doing Oliver Hardy. I didn't pick up with it as a kid, but 100%. And I think his dad, Alan Hale, was in Way Out West. Right? I'm pretty sure. Where's your dignity? Yeah, but again, that's a great line, right? That's such a great, but it's not really a catchphrase. He did it in Hoi Polloi. It's one of the best. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you laugh at Larry, you laugh the hardest. At least me. I heard Robin Williams did an impression of Curly on Aladdin. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He did. They said he did so much material they could have made 3 movies. Billy Gilbert's so funny. So Billy Gilbert in Men in Black, obviously he plays the patient who sees the green canary, and Scotch and Scott, no, not Scott, Pardon My Scotch, where he plays Gino Corrado part, basically, where he's singing and give him the salvo. That was my mix of Moe and Larry, I guess. Julie Garland was signed on to MGM about 1935. Yeah, see, so, but Billy Gilbert was also in. So Billy Gilbert was Shemp's, from what I understand, Shemp's closest friend, or one of Shemp's closest friends. So I asked Jerry that, and she said, "Oh, Billy Gilbert used to come to the house, right?" So for those of you who don't know, Billy Gilbert also, he was in Laurel and Hardy's The Music Box. He's Professor Theodore von Hoggerswoggle, Theodore von whatever his name is. But he also Sneezy in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And he would come to the house. Jerry said he would come to the house and he would just do this sneezing routine to make us all laugh. So she tells these stories about how Billy Gilbert would come to the house, which I love. And there's a film. I just asked my friend Paul. I was talking about that I work for Sprocket Vault. Which, by the way, if you weren't here for that, go check out Sprocket Vault YouTube classic films. I was talking to Paul about it, and I said, hey, I need to find a film print of Ghost Crazy, which is Billy Gilbert and Shemp Howard. I also want to find Three of a Kind. I want to find really nice, clean film prints of these films so we could restore them and get them out for you guys. I want to see them. I don't want to see low quality, 480 versions of these things. I want to see high quality restored versions. And I'm at the point in my life where if I don't do it, I don't know if anybody's gonna. So I gotta head this out. So if anybody out there is listening, you got film prints, I'll figure it out. I'll put it up, and I want to put it out for you guys because this stuff needs to be saved and seen as high quality. But Billy Gilbert's in those movies with Shemp, and they were close friends. Funny your friend had the same name as a guy who played Mo in a 2000 biopic. Who? I don't know who you're talking to. Funny your friend has the same name as a guy who played Mo? Which one was that? Never buy a piano as a birthday gift. Yeah. Ghost Crazy. Ghost Crazy. It's fun. I mean, there's versions of it online. They're just kind of hard to watch because it's like really bad quality. I've seen AI colorize Three Stooges films. I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later you're going to see new Three Stooges films with AI. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Man, is there any Three Stooges material that hasn't ever gone released to the public? So the only one I know of that's out there that you can't really see is Molar and Curly Joe and the Three Stooges doing the 4 spots on the Ed Sullivan Show. I tried to get a license for them for a couple different things, including trying to get on Brad's film channel at one point, and I couldn't pull it off. I tried everything, but so there's that. I don't. I'm sure there's some stuff that's missing, right? Thank goodness that there's none of their main stuff is just gone missing. A lot of the older films. There's a Laurel and Hardy film that nobody's ever seen called Hats Off, which is a precursor to An Ache in Every Steak that the Three Stooges did going up the steps, right? Let's see. Me and Chris are here. Paul Ben Victor. Yeah, played Mo. Yeah, so I interviewed Paul. It was one of the last things I did before I left C3. He was a really nice man. So I don't know where the footage has been. I don't know. I don't know where I don't know where it is. It's not out. But that goes back to at least October, if not earlier, September, maybe October. So it's almost March. Andy, he's talking about Chris Dermick and a guy from the biopic. Oh, Chris Dermick. Jailbirds of Paradise is sadly lost to time. What's Jailbirds of Paradise? Wait, I don't know what that is. Are we missing it? We need more. I need more, Paul. I don't really know what that is. I can't do colorized Three Stooges. It doesn't feel authentic. Yeah. Here's my feeling on it, I guess. I think the Three Stooges would have shot in color if they could have. I love the black and white. I don't need to see it in color. I think if it helps get more people watch the Three Stooges, I have no problems with it personally. So, but I understand. I wish the Stooges shorts had blooper reels. Me too. There's Abbott and Costello blooper reels out there I've seen. They're not great. Like, it's funny. You'd think they'd be funnier. Not that they look miserable, but, it's funny. They're working, right? And I thought it would be hilarious. There's some funny things in it, but it's, yeah. I mean, it's funny when we were shooting the Three Stooges, or we're shooting with Brad and stuff like that. Like, our bloopers aren't super great. They're not funny. the big baby, the big baby bloopers we did with Brad. It was the first thing I shot with Brad. I'm gonna find this because if you haven't seen this, you gotta find it. You gotta see this because I mean you should see the episode first. Um, but yeah, I hope where's the bloopers. I think this is no, that's part two. The bloopers we did for Big Baby, I thought were really funny. And they're real, man. And it was the first thing I ever shot with Brad. I wrote this thing. Man, this is not it. This is all right. Okay, so here's one. You can't imagine Brad's blue bloopers. Oh. There's one. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Maybe it's on my channel. I think it's really funny. I'm proud of the short. I think the short is funny, but let's see if I can find it. I'll put this up. But yeah, okay. I think this is stop it. Okay. I think this is funny because it's all real. And Brad just cracked. I mean, he cracked me up the whole time. And we're shooting. I don't know if you guys remember Justin Tate. He played Larry early on for us. He's got big social media guy, great actor. And we were shooting in his house, and I kept saying, "Hey, did you read the script?" Yeah, I read the script. There's a part where Brad takes a hose and he's spraying a hose, and he's like, "You can't do this in my house." And I'm like, "I sent you the script. You said you read it." So Abbott and Costello had some guy in a set of Frankenstein just walking around trying to crack people up. Bela Lugosi was not amused. Is that true? Abbott and Costello invented the rap gift. There's a famous thing on movies now, rap gifts, where they give the crew a gift, right? And apparently Abbott and Costello invented that. I think I have something about Abbott here. Yeah, here, you might like this. See my pajamas. I wasn't gonna get up. This is from the Maskers, and it was given to Bud Abbott. If you can see, this belonged to him. October 26, 1941, honoring Bud Abbott, Abbott and Costello, and this was given to Bud Abbott. I never drank out of it because I don't know what it's made out of. I like when Brad gets really serious, turns ahead and say, "I'm just a victim of circumstance." Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sydney, I have about an hour of bloopers of him trying to get that right. It's hilarious. I love Mr. Botchagaloop too. Mr. Botchagaloop is great. Yeah, it's really funny. Okay, didn't mean to upset anyone. Who upset anybody? MGM Roast Beef and Movies had Curly Howard. Yeah, if you watch that, it's funny. There's a film called Roast Beef and Movies from MGM with Curly in it with two other comedians, and it just goes to show you, like, if the other two comedians were Mo and Larry, and I don't think it's because familiarity. I don't think it's just because I know these guys, I like these guys. I think if Mo and Larry were in these parts, this would be a great short. It'd be a classic short. Curly's great. I mean, Curly's figuring out his character. He's really funny. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle, and you see why. You see when you watch other comedians do the same material, you see why the Stooges are as good as they are. Buster Keaton did the courtroom scene, take off your hat, before Curly did, and watching that bit. He did it first, and Curly does it. And it's not because I know Curly's version. It's just funnier. It's a funny routine, but it's an okay routine that Curly made funny, and not just Curly. Like the filmmakers made funny. It was cut funny. The judge is great, perfect cast, like everything about it. But Curly made it. I mean, it's so funny. And Buster Keaton's funny in general, but he was paired with Jimmy Durante, and you could have two great comedians that there's just no chemistry that don't work. So you watch Roast Beef and Movies. It's an interesting, it's a really interesting kind of experiment looking at it now. Yeah, it's just okay. I think it would be great if those MGM movies in general were just okay, right? Um, okay. Andy, I looked it up on Grok. In 1971, the Stooges did appear on Hollywood Squares. There's no way. I don't believe that. I don't believe that it ever happened. In 1971, Larry had a stroke. Larry was in a wheelchair. I don't think he's going on Hollywood Squares. I don't think that's true. Brad said he was worried he was ruining his grandfather's legacy because he kept messing it up. Yeah, Brad. Well, there's one thing I learned about working with Brad is that, like as a filmmaker myself, and I have a vision of what Brad has got so many, I think, similarities accidentally to his grandfather, right? He learning lines. I mean, when he wants to learn lines, I mean, he does. He puts in the work. He really wants to be professional. But I think Brad's better when you don't give him lines. You just give him the idea and let Brad be Brad. Let Curly be Curly. He's just funny. He's much funnier on his own. He's much funnier when he does his thing than when I'm trying to get him to do something, right? And it's just like he's just natural. He's so much. If you if you could ever just go out with Brad, right? Just go out with Curly. He is, when you see crazy, like that's who he is. He's Curly G. It just comes out. He's just a happy guy. He's a silly guy. He's a caring guy. He's a funny guy. And he's a creative guy. He's just spews this crazy, silly, vibrant nonsense that just absolutely. And we get it. I mean, we get on Stooge Talk Live, and he's got great ideas. I wish, when I lost my job last year, I kind of wish he had lost his too, because I feel like if me and him both had no jobs together, and we made this our lives, just streaming and making content for you guys, I think we'd come up with some really funny stuff. Imagine him on an airplane. I was with him on an airplane quite a number of times. And so when we first did the Three Stooges live show, I went in character. I flew as Curly, right? And everybody hated me. They were so mad at me and Brad. We were like little kids. We were like, I gotta find that footage. Some of it's a mess because I was shooting with the GoPro at the time, and it didn't come out as good. But I mean, we were running around the airport. They were so mad. I'm like, we're making the Three Stooges live show. Like, we should be having fun. This should be silly fun. And then Dermot started flying as Mo, and then we would go out. We would go out on the town as Mo and Curly G. We needed a Larry who wanted to come play with us while we were on our off time, and we didn't have that too much. Robert Fell said was the closest. We didn't get to do enough, but he just wanted to be Larry. He just wanted to join in with us, and he just it came in at a bad time to try to do Stooge stuff. We just it was not good timing, as you see how it ended up. But he would have done that if we had done live show with him. We would have been basically Stooges on the entire trip. I think we would have nonstop. We would have dressed as Stooges. So who knows if we were sleeping in the same bed together doing. Okay, yeah, they made an appearance in 1967 on the Paul Winchell show. That makes more sense. They were not on Hollywood Squares. The best Three Stooges is listening to the Mockingbird. I agree. That's my favorite theme of theirs. Absolutely. Stooges, no on Hollywood. Yeah, Mo made an appearance in last movie role. Dr. Death. Yep. Thinking of Brad being on an airplane. Oh, I went with him. Brad does have a childlike heart. He's such a great guy. I'm surprised Dermot didn't jump in. I should have texted him, let him know I was coming on. Wow. Have we been going on for 2 hours and 19 minutes? Guys, it's almost midnight out here. We still got a lot of people on. Maybe, maybe Andy, remember when the lady flipped you off on a berry short? No. Wait, what happened? I don't know that. There's a movie where Mo and Curly appear both scenes. Oh, that was I didn't do the Perry short. That was Shorty. Shorty did that. Yeah, we don't know where Dermick is. It's at 10:25 in Illinois. Yeah, you guys are little kids. Yeah, so I gotta dig out that footage for you guys because it'll be a lot of fun for you to see. Um, us doing the live show. I really tried to. I wanted to bring that back. I wanted to bring that back, man. And I wasn't able to pull it off. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off now. I find it unlikely. I'm also just getting too old to be curly. I don't think. Do you still keep in contact with your fellow Stooges? Oh yeah, all of them. Yeah, I am. I When you're my friend, you're pretty much my friend for life, except for a couple people who never want to talk to me. But that's on them. That's their problem. I work out anything with anybody. I remember in Self-Made Maids when the boys dressed up like babies. It was so funny. I love when the boys are babies. They're funny, man. Keep it going. I can't. My voice is getting hoarse. I got to do this again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're gonna talk Laurel and Hardy, and we're gonna pick some stuff for the Laurel and Hardy exhibit at the Hollywood Museum coming up. So, guys, it's been 2 hours and 21 minutes. I should have started earlier. I would have kept going. And if I am stuck in New York next week, which I might be, you might get another Monster Hunter video. Go check out the ones if you haven't seen them. And who knows what time tomorrow? Let me figure it out. I'll make a little announcement, but maybe the same time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. If that works. Should I do earlier? 8 o'clock? You guys tell me. What time should we do it? I got to pull a lot of this stuff. Everything's gonna be from upstairs. I'm glad you learned a lot. I did too. I love talking to you guys. This has been a blast. Guys, we're gonna get back to this. We're gonna get the boys back. We're gonna do every Thursday night, unless you want to pick another night. Every Thursday night we'll do Stooge Talk, but I think we want to start doing more additional stuff too, like Laurel and Hardy, like just general comedians. I have some ideas that we could do with the boys. Me and Schwartzy got a lot we want to do. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of me this year. You guys just be your own original comedy team and we'll watch. Thank you. That's what we're gonna have to do, sadly. But we're okay with that. We're okay with that. I wish somebody would talk to me. Oh, Andy, we've been talking to you. Can we get episode 2 of Ghost Catchers? It's on. Episode 2 in black and white? Yeah, I could do that. Like I said, I mentioned this before. This channel got demonetized. I don't know if anybody you're trying to tip tonight and they can't. Well, that's why. And it's like they literally accuse me of stealing content. And I'm like, first of all, I'm putting on public domain stuff that I have every right to, so we could talk about it, right? So I was putting up Marx Brothers stuff so we could talk about it, some Laurel and Hardy stuff so we could talk about it. And the problem is I got to do it all in advance because they allow people to claim the rights to it and try to scam other people. So, and I think me putting up the black and white version on this channel instead of the other one, they considered it stealing content, which is insane because I've completely changed it. And I really wanted to make it, what my classic comedy fans would like to see. So if you haven't checked it out, Ghost Getters, Monster Hunters, I think it's just called in the title, Monster Hunters on this channel, or check out the Monster Hunters on Andy Pagana. You want to super chat, challenge him. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, we got other channels we could put it on. Thank you, Sue. You're super sweet. You don't need to do that. But anything you guys do, we put towards right into production, right towards the channel. But you off the hook here. But I'm glad you like it. I'm gonna try to do another one before I leave if I'm stuck here. And if you have any ideas, let's do them. So, a tip, eh? Oh, I'll give you a tip. I'll give you 2. Oh, hold on. I'll give you a tip. I'll give you 2. Did it work? Did it work? Okay. Yeah, you can put it up on your channel. Just be careful. You could take any of my stuff, put it on your stuff. Just be careful. YouTube's really cracking down on stuff like that. It's great to see you back on TV. Now wake up and go to sleep. Oh, I'm a victim of circumstance. Yeah. No, no, no. All right, kids, I love you. Thank you. Keep Stooge talking. Thanks for joining me. It was a lot of fun. Let's do tomorrow night. When tell me when 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we'll do the same thing. I got to pull a bunch of stuff down, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. But let's do it. We'll talk tomorrow and Stooge Talk. We're gonna figure out next week. We're gonna do next week too. All right. I love you. Oh.